Happy New Year! Wow, it's the year 2026. Amazing, amazing. How you all doing? I hope you've been enjoying the first few days of this year. Literally 5 days, 6 days ago, we all were screaming Happy New Year, and 1 week is almost over. Can you believe that?
How many weeks are there in January?
I guess 5 or 4 or something. Yeah.
It always feels like a very long month that has 8 weeks in it.
Yeah, but thank God for the new year. New year, new me, I guess. That's what everybody says. And that's what we want to talk about. Like you can see on the title, it's New Year, Old Me. And we want to talk about some interesting things that's associated with the new year, new priorities, new pressure, everything. But are you excited about the new year already? Yeah,
I am.
2026.
I'm excited about this year because this year a lot of things have been said and are planned for accomplishment. So I'm excited to see how I would navigate this year with all of its perks. Yeah, it's always nice to step into a new year and it feels new, even though you're still the same person. But like the mindset shift, the feeling of you get an opportunity to reset in some areas that did not serve you in the previous year, that's always going to be exciting. How about you?
Yeah, growing up in Nigeria, New Year was and is still a thing where, we go to church, we have like knockouts, and everyone is excited about the new year. We're praying that things will change, will become better. And then as I grew older, I, started thinking about the whole ideology of New Year and just knowing, and then I started, reading books, listening to people talking about the fact that, well, it's literally just a change of calendar and not necessarily, there's really nothing new. It's like if December had 32 days, so what we call the first day of January would be like December 32 or 30, so it's just a change of number. But then I don't completely agree with that philosophy or with that ideology. Yes, it's a change of number, but you can make it new. It can be a new season for you. It depends on how you see it. But the question is, do we have to do something new at the start of the year? Or do we have to set new goals? Or do we have to create new habits? So, that leads me to the question to you, Lolade. Like, what's one thing you are convinced that you don't need to change or you're not changing about your life in this new year?
I don't think that there is that one thing that I'm not going to change, because change can be progressive in the right direction. There are things that I'm already doing that I'm proud of, but I can always do better, So there's that element of change. It's not like I'm stopping it, I'm just putting more gas.
Is change a 180 degree, or can change be 10 degree, 20 degree? You get what I mean?
Yes, I get what you mean. Change can definitely be 180 degrees and it can also be 5 degrees forward. And it depends on the area that you're focused on. My personal experience, for example, last year, 2025, and it feels so far away, but it's just a few days ago. Anyway, last year, I decided that I was going to try my best to read my Bible every night and read it in the form of books, starting from the New Testament, and I would take my time. This is a habit that I tried to keep up with every night. There were nights where I would fall asleep before I got a chance to open the Bible, but I know that because I wanted to start that habit, there was always something in me that propelled me. Once I get on my bed, once the light is a bit dim, then the next thing I'm thinking of is, what word of God am I going to put in my spirit before I go to bed?
Yeah.
So that habit is definitely something that I'm not throwing away. I'm continuing it this year, 2026, maybe in a better way. So going beyond reading my Bible, how can I move forward to studying? Because reading is one thing. Reading is just you literally reading. But studying is you focusing on a particular area and asking the question, okay, who wrote this? Why was it written? What was the context? Who was Jesus talking to here? Why did it sound like that? What is the Greek meaning of this one? and just going a step further, besides what you're seeing in the literal term in the Bible, this is what I want to do better this new year. It doesn't mean that I'm changing 180 degrees. I don't think that's the case. It's more of finding better ways to do what I'm already doing that seems to work.
Yeah, now that makes sense. Towards the end of a year and the start of a new year, there's just so much, especially if you are in the self-development space, like people producing videos and podcasts talking about setting goals, changing yourself, becoming a new you, not allowing your old self to disturb your growth, everything like that. And I feel that there's so much pressure that comes around this season, and it's because of this that a lot of people like set new year resolution, right? Oh, this year I want to do this different. And I'm sure by now everybody knows, maybe not everybody, but most people know that new year resolution does not always work.
Yes.
Because when we get to like February, you now get to realize that it's not about setting those new year resolutions or setting new goals.
Just because of what you're saying, I'm thinking about why it doesn't work, why sometimes goals don't work. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If you set goals for yourself, but you don't have a system in place, there's something called Atomic Habits. It's a book, by the way. I think it was James Clear that wrote about atomic habits, being that there are micro, small steps you can take every single day. And that is putting a system in place for you such that those micro habits help you to build up towards your goals. If you set a goal of, I want to be fit, I want to improve my diet, that's a very nice goal, but what is the daily step that you're going to take? That's why most people who set goals that are ambitious, without breaking them down into daily micro steps, they do it for maybe a couple of days, a couple of weeks, even months, but afterwards they give up.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that that's probably why
no, it's
New
true.
Year resolutions don't work as much, because it's not properly set up and it's not done in a way that it is manageable every day.
Yes. So what we're trying to say is that for you to experience progress, it's not enough for you to set new goals. It is more important for you to set systems. And the idea of setting systems and structures is that you want to bring consistency into your life. So it's not about, oh, I want to do this thing new, I want to do a new thing, but what are you going to do consistently? That is that's the whole point. What do you want to do consistently? You mentioned James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, and he wrote that if you want better results, then forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. When you have a system, when you have a structure, then you can be consistent. Then you have habits that can help you produce the progress that you want to experience in the new year.
Definitely. There are people who don't set goals for the new year, right?
Yes.
What's your take on that?
I think it's fine. I think it's okay. The thing is, I don't need to set a new goal or set a goal for year 2026 in January. What if I already started a project or something I'm working on, and I started it sometime in the last quarter of last year, and I continue doing that? So it's not like I'm setting something new, for the year. There's already an ongoing project or task that I'm doing that rolls over into the new year. So there's no need for me to set a new goal. If that is the situation, then it's fine. The only scenario where I think not setting a new year goal or a goal for the new year is when you're not making any form of progress at all as an individual. So if you look back on the previous year, you're not happy, you didn't make much progress, and you just want to go through the same motions this new year, then it doesn't make sense. Because the idea of setting goals is that you're trying to aim at something. So if you're not aiming at anything, then it's not even a question of either it's a new year goal. It just means there's something fundamentally wrong in your worldview about life.
There are people who believe in not setting goals, but just seeing how the year unfolds. These are the spontaneous ones, the ones who just take every day as it comes. So today, this happened to me. Okay, maybe I do this different next time. Moving on to the next thing. So there's really no compass guiding. And for some of them, it works out quite fine.
And
Surprisingly, because at the end of the year, spontaneity has led them to uncover a new skill set in their lives, or I don't know, change a job, whatever it is. And it's not something that they planned for. They just went with the flow. Is there a place for that? Or should we always stay safe with planning and leave little room for spontaneity? But when it comes, when opportunities come, even opportunities we did not plan for, we should just go with the flow. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's kind of like planning, but also leaving room, as opposed to planning, putting systems. These are two school of thoughts.
yeah, for me, my school of thought is nothing just happens. If you're not actively planning for something or setting a goal for something, things wouldn't just happen. So it's always advised that you plan and you set a goal, or you at least somewhere in your mind know that this is what I'm trying to do. But there's also, you don't have control over everything, and that's the reality of life, right? You can set your plan, you can set everything, and life just happens. So there's always a place for and a room for life to happen, and some spontaneous things to happen. The overarching advantage of setting goals is that you can take stock. Like, it's like you have a direction. It's just similar to someone who is going somewhere. If I just leave the house now and I start walking, and I'm with my Apple wristwatch, it will be calculating steps for me, right? So now you've made 100 steps, you've made 1,000 steps. So yes, I'm adding to my steps, but I don't know where I'm going. So if I don't know where I'm going, I don't know when I've arrived. I don't know if I'm even passing the right direction. I don't even know if it's better for me to take a car than to take a tram, or maybe I should take a flight. So where you're going will determine a lot with how you take each day. So if my destination is America and I start working, I know before I get to America from Germany, it will take me perhaps days or months. So my strategy for working is not the best strategy, because I know where I'm going to, I know my destination.
The strategy of walking.
Yeah, my strategy of working. So because I know my destination, I will just know that, even taking a boat doesn't make sense, or taking a car doesn't make sense. I have to find a way to book a flight if I want to get to where I'm going. So the people who go with the flow might end up be the person who actually, maybe America is their destination, but because they don't want to plan, or they don't put that plan, they just start walking. And so while they're walking, they discover nice places, they see people, they do other things. But then before they get to their destination, they might be like 50 years old, or 50 years later, much later. Of course, they lived their life, but they would have gotten there much faster and even done more things. This is the advantage of planning. You set your destination, and then you choose the best route to take you there.
Fair.
Yeah. But what is your own thought about living with the flow and just doing things as they come? I know you're a planner, so I guess you don't have
I'm very much a planner, but life has taught me that sometimes your plans don't always work. And so when they don't work out as you want or wish, are you going to stay there and wallow in, I don't know, self-pity or whatever? Or are you just going to come up with another line of action?
Yeah.
There's also the aspect of when you plan and you're working on something, but you see that you're not getting the result that you want. Does it maybe make sense to take a step back and evaluate the goal altogether, the plan? If that plan still makes sense for your season, or it's time for you to try something else. I know it sounds quite ambiguous, and I wish I could give a practical example, but there's not one coming to my mind right now. So I'm just going to say that I like to plan, but I'm learning that I should give myself space to adapt to life's changing situations. And with God on my side, knowing that everything is working out for my good, even when the plan does not work, I just know, okay, I will pick myself up, try something else, or try again. Yeah.
So how about mindset shifts? We talked about how setting new goals is not like the best strategy, but rather building structures and habits. How would you describe the process of, setting up structures and systems to help you build a consistent habit to experience and see progress?
This question sounds very philosophical, but the question is, how do I set up structures, right?
Yeah, for this new year.
For this new year. Right now, I'm still in the process of finalizing the things that I want to achieve for myself, the things I want to learn better, things I want to improve on. There was something we did a few weeks back where we realized that we wanted to increase our knowledge on certain topics. So we told ourselves that every Monday we would focus on this and watch some videos on this. Every Tuesday we'll focus on this other topic. We'll watch. So that's one way to structure, where you devote a particular day to a particular skill or a particular habit or a particular interest of yours. That's how we are doing it, and that's also how I want to do it. That every day there is an area of improvement that I'm focused on. For example, I want to improve my speaking skills. That's something that I'm always constantly trying to work on, because no matter how great of a speaker I am, I believe there are better ways. There are better ways of doing things, of saying things. And that's why it's one of my goals always. Ima, what I am trying to do is find speakers that I enjoy listening to, whose style I think fits with my personality, and then find interesting videos that they have created or interesting episodes that they have interviewed in or been interviewed in,
Yeah.
and listen to them. For me, this is one way that I want to be able to improve in myself every single day.
Yeah, like just making sure that you have things that you want to do daily, right? And putting a system of check around it. Like that really does help with setting the right structure and making sure that you don't fall back to your old habits and to the things that would not help you achieve what you're set to achieve.
But how about you? Do you have any addition, or do you have a different approach how you would structure your plan?
For me, it is writing it very clear, having a place where it is written down. Because if I don't have it written down, I would most likely forget. So when I have it written down, I have like a reference point. I know I can always come back and see, on Tuesdays I'm supposed to do this. So what is happening, right? And then secondly is having like a time slot for whatever I want to do. So not just saying I want to do this and I don't have like a time I want to do it. So putting a time for my tasks or for whatever I want to do is a way of putting a structure around it. And then also connecting my day-to-day activities with the things that I want to do. So for example, I know I drive to work. So while I'm driving to work, what do I want to do while driving? Because either ways I'm going to drive. So I can connect one of my structures, one of my tasks to that time that I know that I do this every day, or at least the days I go to work. I go to bed every day to sleep. So just like how you do yours with reading the Bible before you sleep, you know that eventually you're going to go to bed to sleep. So before you do that activity, then I must do this. So I connect the habit I want to form to something that I already do on a daily basis. So it's easy. So it's like the trigger. It's like, I have to do this, but before I do this, I must do this. Or after I do this, I must do this.
It's from the Atomic Habits book, right?
Perhaps, yeah, I'm sure it's from one of the things
I remember reading something like that
I've learned
when I read the book, which
Yeah.
was 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good. Is there any other thing you want to share? But one of the things that also adds a lot of pressure to people is the fear of missing out. Especially with social media. It's new year. People are putting their new goals. Some people, are saying these are the things I want to do this year. I want to make these things. Do you ever feel like you're falling behind because you're not trying the latest trend?
Nope. Not at all. I have come to the point in my life where I am more focused on what works for me personally as much as possible. For example, these social media trends, I'm not really on Instagram. When my friends are like, oh, did you see this thing? No, I don't even know who this artist is. I'm just busy on WhatsApp. WhatsApp, the app, just responding to messages or chatting people up, checking up on people. And when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to learn some things on YouTube or just having a good time on YouTube. YouTube is where I get educational content, entertainment content, informational content. And also I'm not really in a hurry to say to ask myself what is the latest. Oh, how can I don't think it's even helpful
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
right? Just stick to your own lane, know what you're doing that is serving you, that's helpful for you. Of course, if you like social media and you want to be there, quite all right. But just so you know, a lot of us are just consumers. We're just consuming content, consuming content, consuming content. Maybe it's time to think about what you can produce for yourself, so you're not just taking in and taking in and taking in, and there's just a lot of information anyway on social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's a little bit too much. That's why I'm so happy to disconnect from all these things, because this girl needs to breathe.
Yeah, I think what you said is very helpful. Like, if you struggle with the pressure of wanting to keep up with the trends, maybe you just want to get out of Instagram, because Instagram is that app that can add a lot of pressure. You see everything, the videos, the glam, and it can almost make you feel like you're not making anything out of your life. So focus
Yeah.
on your focus.
Yeah, stay in your lane. If you know Instagram is your favorite app, just make sure that it's not affecting you in a negative way. To thine own self be true. Only you knows that. Only you can answer that question for yourself. So for me, I know what Instagram can do to me. So I guard my heart with all my heart.
I'm sure some people are like, I know setting new goals is not the thing. I should build a structure, I should build habits. But I mean, that was what I was trying to achieve last year, but I couldn't. I did it, but just couldn't. So the fear of past failure is not encouraging for some people. So have you experienced it yourself? And what would be your advice or your thoughts for anyone who is kind of struggling with that? I just want to go with the flow this year. I'm not even ready to set all these things.
I can completely relate, because there are things that I've also started, systems. Like, okay, for example, let me read a book every day, a chapter every day, or 2 chapters of. By book, I don't mean like the Bible. I'm talking about novels, books that I enjoy, because I want to also improve my reading ability. Because, by the way, you see, all this scrolling that we do on social media is reducing our attention span. And I've found that it's difficult for me to read long form content. It's getting increasingly difficult. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I must read this article. I must read this book today. And then I find that maybe I put a system that, okay, in the evening when I'm relaxed after work or whatever, I will do it. There are days where I do it, and there are days when I don't. There are days when we just don't walk because of one thing or the other. On days like that, I try to walk in the apartment. So I walk around the living room.
Yeah.
And then the days that I just can't at all altogether, I forgive myself and I'd say, okay, you know what, tomorrow we go again.
I must do it.
What is important is that there is movement forward, even if it looks like today one score, tomorrow 0.
Yeah.
Next tomorrow 3 points and all, but at least consistency looks different for different people. But just pick yourself up. This is my own approach, and I know that even next year, some of the things that I say I want to do, I'm sure that there are days when I will not do it. It is what it is, but I'm not going to beat myself up. The moment I realize it, I will pick myself up and continue.
Yeah, and that is the truth. Like, just know that in this year, this new year, you are going to most likely miss some of your habits or fail or fall, but stand up. Yeah, pick yourself up and continue doing what you want to do.
Maybe if it helps to have an accountability partner. For some people, it's helpful for them. I don't know if one of you or any of you listening thrives in accountability. We all should be accountable to someone anyway. But like, there are certain people who it's very, very helpful for. So if you're that kind of person that needs someone to check in on you, be like, okay, how far? How is this going? Send me these documents. Send me your, I don't know, written draft if you maybe want to improve in your writing, whatever it is, right? Then get an accountability partner, someone you know is reliable and you can trust, and see if that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. So throughout last year, we released podcast episodes on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and I remember we were saying, YouTube lovers, we're coming, and we are here now. So for those of you who are listening to us right now on YouTube, yay! yeah. Please, you know the drill. Hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let us know what you feel about our conversation, your thoughts, your comments, and also what habits are you maintaining this year, meaning what habits do you want to sustain, and if you want to create a new habit this year, let us know what new habits do you want to create this new year.
That's it from our side. Thanks a lot for stopping by today, and we would catch you in the next episode. Don't forget to toast the life, okay? Toodles!
Toodles!